If you're thinking about starting a remote job, well, there's some hidden things that come with it. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down 9 things that they never tell you about working remotely. The good, the bad, and the surprising. And if you'll stick around, I'm going to show you how to make your transition a little smoother and a little bit more successful. Let's dive right in. All right, first off, isolation can mess with your head big time. Now, at first, working from home feels like freedom. No micromanaging boss hovering over your shoulder. None of those annoying coworkers, just you and your coffee and some peace and quiet. But after a while, that silence can be deafening. Days start to blend together, and before you know it, well, you realize that the only person that you spoke to in the last week, other than your spouse, is the mail carrier and the Amazon delivery guy. It's not like the office where interactions just happen naturally. So if you're thinking about remote work, remember it's going to require effort to stay connected and to stay active. Now, let's be real. Now, I'm an introvert and I can hyper-focus, but too much isolation can sneak up on you and it can impact your mood, your motivation, and can even affect your self-confidence. All right, number 2 is work-life balance. Well, that's a myth unless you do this. Now, people seem to assume that working from home means more balance. But here's the truth. It's way easier to let your work consume your life. When your office is also your kitchen, your bedroom, and your living room, well, it's ridiculously hard to shut things down at the end of the day. The guilt of having to send just one more email or respond to an urgent Slack message from a coworker on the other side of the globe can quickly turn into hours of unpaid overtime. And before you know it, you're working more than ever. Now, the fact is that the boundary between work and life starts to get awfully blurry. And if you're not careful, your home stops feeling like a home and it starts feeling like a never-ending shift. Number 3 is out of sight, out of mind. Yes, it's definitely a thing. You could be the hardest working, most valuable employee, but guess what? If your boss never sees you, well, they might forget you exist until it's time for your review. In an office, just being present reminds people that you're putting in the work. But remotely, most people are working just like you and they're tired, they're overworked, and they're facing the same issues that you are. So you don't get those casual good job moments when you come down the hallway, or those chats or whatever that you get in the break room where you build relationships. So no matter how long you work remotely with your team, you never really get to know each other. Now that can be a good thing sometimes, but if you're a people person, it can make you feel invisible and make you feel like basically you can be thrown away. And let's be real, when promotion time comes around, people are going to tend to think of the ones that they see the most. And if you're not actively making yourself visible, well, you're risking being overlooked. All right, here's a big one. Your Wi-Fi is your lifeline, so don't cheap out on this. Now, nobody tells you this, but your internet connection is as important as your job skills. If your Zoom freezes mid-meeting or your emails take forever to send, you look unprofessional, even if it's not your fault. Now, it can make you feel like the weak link on your team. And if you think you can get by on a cheap Wi-Fi plan, well, you're just setting yourself up for hours of frustration and embarrassment. Now, the difference between smooth, seamless work and daily tech nightmares often comes down to one thing: your internet speed. Okay, here's a big one. Teamwork feels awkward, especially at first. Now, in an office, teamwork happens naturally. You brainstorm in meetings, you bounce ideas off of coworkers, or you just chat in the break room. But when you're remote, it's entirely different. It's awkwardly different. Conversations start to feel very formal. Slack messages can feel cold. And when it's just you sitting there reading those, well, you start reading them and rereading them, and you'll begin asking yourself, are they upset at me? Did I do something wrong? Why are they mad at me? So all those things are going to go through your head, just like it is when you read a text message and somebody sends you something and you pick up your phone, you look at that and go, are they upset? And you start reading things into it. So you have to be very careful. And let's not even talk about those weird silent moments on Zoom when no one knows who should speak first. And then, those things when you sign off and everyone waves and shouts goodbye like they're seeing the Titanic off on its maiden voyage. So if you're not used to it, remote teamwork can feel like trying to have a conversation through a walkie-talkie. It's slow, it's disjointed, and it's terribly awkward. Number 6 is you've got to have more discipline than ever. So if you're going to do remote work, you have to be a pretty disciplined person. So let's be honest, when no one's watching, it would be really easy just to slack off, to tell yourself, well, I'll just take a quick break. And suddenly you're 3 episodes deep in a Netflix show. Or you think, well, I'll just do the laundry real quick. And an hour later, well, you're reorganizing your entire closet. There's no one there keeping you accountable but you. And that means that if you don't have a solid self-discipline plan, or however you're made up, it's going to be incredibly easy for you to fall into the trap of getting nothing done and feeling terribly tired and exhausted at the end of the day. All right, here we are at number 7, networking. Yep, still important. People think that working from home means, well, I can just skip networking. Nope, just the opposite. Not networking is a huge mistake. In fact, if you're working remote, networking is more important than ever. And here's why. Because here's the deal. Opportunities, promotions, and job security don't just come from doing your job. They come from who knows you and who thinks of you when an opportunity pops up. And if you're not staying connected, if you're not engaging with your industry or maintaining relationships, well, you're basically disappearing from the professional world. And that's a dangerous place to be. And if you lose that remote job, well, you're out of sight, out of mind. Your workspace matters a lot more than you think. Now, in an office, someone else generally worries about the setup. You just show up and work. But at home, well, your workspace is 100% your responsibility. And let's be real, if your office is a cluttered dining table with bad lighting and a terrible kitchen chair that makes your back ache, well, you're going to feel it. So the right setup isn't just about comfort. It's about productivity. It's about mood, about how long you can actually sustain remote work before burnout starts to creep in. So if your space isn't set up for success, well, neither are you. All right, but it's still pretty awesome. Okay, let's not forget the best part. No commute, no office drama, no weird smells coming from the break room fridge, and working from home gives you a level of freedom and flexibility that most people only dream about. You want to take your midday walk? Well, you could probably do that. You need to pick up your grandkids from school? No problem. And yep, blue jeans every day, 100%. That's the way it is. Remote work isn't perfect, but if you make it work for you, it's one of the best career moves that you can ever make. Okay, so if you're thinking, what skills do I actually need to make this work? Well, I've got you. Check out my next video, 10 remote job skills that you need to work from home. I'll see you in the next one.